Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. I have a very special guest with me today. She is the co-founder and style director of C&D. Please welcome Jen Arnold. Hello, Jen. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Asia, and hi, everyone. How much fun is this?
This
Like,
is
what
gonna
a
be
treat.
this is gonna be so fun. Now, I want to get started into how you got into the nail industry. So, how did you get into the nail industry, and how did you start with? What was the story about C&D?
Uh, how we got into the industry was completely by happenstance. My dad was a dentist, a practicing dentist, but
Mm-hmm.
he had a degree in chemistry. And since we were little, there were four siblings, five of us total. Since I can remember, my dad would go to work in dentistry, but at night and on the weekends, he was in his laboratory
Mm-hmm.
working on mouth rinses and toothpaste. And thank goodness he had five kids. We were his guinea pigs. And by the way, never a cavity. So obviously he did a good job. But he
Mm-hmm.
actually had a nail professional come to him as a patient to get a crown on one
Right.
of his teeth. And he was mixing up a monomer and a polymer for the
Mm-hmm.
temporary crown. She recognized the smell, and this was in 1979. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, Dr. Nordstrom, this smells just like what I'm using to
Mm-hmm.
extend and to reshape nails. Now,
Mm-hmm.
back then on Ventura Boulevard in the San Fernando Valley of LA, that's where nail enhancements were born. And
Mm-hmm.
they were using dental Kadon at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually getting it from like dental supplies. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, I don't really want to use the Kadon because it's not really like sanctioned by the FDA.
Right.
Um, and everything else available, there were only two companies, if you can believe it, selling
Mm-hmm.
acrylic at the time. But she
Right.
said, I'm unhappy because the nails look thick, they turn yellow,
Mm-hmm.
they're very brittle under duress and wear and tear. So
Mm-hmm.
she said, please, please help. So dad said, give me a sample of what you're using. He
Mm-hmm.
went into his laboratory, and Asia, this is like the biggest lesson on science really empowering intelligence within our industry,
Mm-hmm.
because what my dad saw under the microscope
Mm-hmm.
was a single link polymer,
Mm-hmm.
meaning all of the molecular chains were
Mm-hmm.
lined up in one direction. And the second he saw that, he said, oh my God, you should be using cross linked technology
Right.
where everything is interlaced,
Mm-hmm.
which gives you flexibility. It acts as a guard against sunlight for yellowing. Like logically, he thought this is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So he mixed some stuff up
Mm-hmm.
and gave it to his patients. She tried it, and it was really funny because she told two friends, they told four friends, they told 12 friends. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, my mom was sure that dad was going through a middle life crisis
Mm-hmm.
because at night, all these women started calling my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we heard about this stuff, like a secret, like drug deal. We heard you have this secret stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, my dad said, you know what? If nail professionals like it, then I'm going to apply for a patent. And
Right.
guess what? Back then, today, it takes years to get a patent. Back
Mm-hmm.
then, he was able to confirm that he had something really unique. And
Right.
that's when we had a family meeting, and
Mm-hmm.
dad said, I've got good news and I have bad news. Okay.
Right.
So the good news is that I have this stuff, doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
have a name, but it's cross linked. It's a beautiful resin that is
Mm-hmm.
very sculptable. I think it's really going to serve the needs of what I'm hearing from nail pros that they want. Um,
Right.
and so that's the good news. And we're getting our patent. And I'm going to give it to you guys. Like, I don't want to start a new business. So I'm going to give you the patent. But the bad news is I'm not going to give you any money if you want to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
So if if you like my idea, if you think it makes sense, then go to a bank, learn about the
Mm-hmm.
business, get a loan,
Right.
and and go do it. I'll help you as your
Mhm.
chemist, but I'm not going to build the business. You've got to want this.
Right.
And it took my brother and I have two brothers, two sisters. One
Mhm.
of my brothers was really interested in it, as was I. And I
Mhm.
was wearing nail enhancements at the time. I have horrible nails, ski jump
Yeah.
nails. So I always wore nail enhancements. And so we were right close to Oceanside Beauty College.
Mhm.
So I started going to Oceanside Beauty College to learn the business.
Mhm.
I never practiced as a nail pro, but I got the intelligence. And we went to a banker.
Mhm.
And with my art background, I did a nail enhancement on the pinky of the banker, a
Mhm.
guy. And he thought we were crazy. Like, who
Wow.
are, who are you crazy people?
Mhm.
But he thought it was a magic trick. Like,
Mhm.
he looked at this nail, he couldn't believe it.
Mhm.
And he wanted to get the odor out of his office. That was number one.
Right.
Number two, he gave us a loan and said, "Go now, get you
Mhm.
and your odor based product out of my office." And
Mhm.
there we were in business.
Mhm.
And just a little follow up to the story. Mom threw us out of the house. We
Mhm.
got a facility,
Right.
and because by then we had bottles and labels, and we were taking over her house, and she's like, "Get out of my house." So
Right.
we got the facility, and my dad stayed on as our chemist for
Mhm.
2.5 years. But then on that third year, on Father's Day, he died of a massive heart attack. We
Mm.
lost, but
Wow.
sincerely believe in my deepest of hearts
Mhm.
that he kind of deep down knew. I mean, he had heart problems to begin with.
Right.
He knew to empower us, to give us the intelligence of the science, to teach us the humility of doing more listening. He used to
Mhm.
say, two ears and only one mouth, use it accordingly.
Mhm.
And he really gave us, I think, the soul and the vision of our company. So,
Mhm.
what a blessing. It gives me chills to this day,
Mhm.
how it happened, the blessing of it all. And
Right.
here I am, 42 years later, Asia. It's been
Wow.
42 years. Ah, probably twice as old as you are.
Yeah, I'm like, 24 years old. So, but yeah, but that's a really, really interesting story, especially, the history behind it. And it kind of reminds me of Fred Slack. And Fred Slack, was is a dentist, and he broke a nail and he created his own acrylic monomer and polymer. So I thought that was really, really cool, because I feel like both stories kind of correlate with each other. That's really, really awesome. Now, in terms of C&D, what makes your brand stand out the most?
What a great question. So, since day one, I think the lessons we received from my innovative father is
Hmm.
number one, you can't educate what you don't innovate. You
Hmm.
have to be an innovator, you have to be close to the science
Hmm.
in order to be empowered to use intelligence to properly care for your every client. So I think it's, innovation, science based, fact based information
Hmm.
empowers good judgment and empowers proper techniques so
Hmm.
that we can custom service every client, not
Hmm.
just cookie cutter service.
Right.
And with that, that was sort of our guiding path. But I think at the same time, we were always committed to
Hmm.
advancing the state of the industry,
Hmm.
meaning we were the guys that wore the white hats for health and safety, protection of the natural nail, um,
Hmm.
sitting on, we joined every board, every organization there was. We were
Hmm.
very active in creating positive change in our industry.
Right.
And, we've always said at CND, we are a path, not just a product. We have a great
Hmm.
product, but more importantly, it's a path of knowledge, a path of leadership,
Mm-hmm.
um, really being committed to doing the right thing and making sure that what we share is always backed by fact and by truth. So
Right.
I'm very, very proud that over the last 42 years, with changes in the landscape of the industry and
Mm-hmm.
everything that has gone on, every decade, it changes, that my mission from day one was to wave that flag of advancing the state of the industry. And I feel like if you know who you are and you know where you're going, it's very easy to get there
Mm-hmm.
because it's clear. You've
Right.
defined your path clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really, really proud of that. I think we've done, beyond product, which of course our innovations speak for themselves, but we've done some, really big things that hopefully we will continue to do for the next 42 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, most definitely. So, in terms of your company, also, you offer different job opportunities, ranging from being a color specialist to being an ambassador in different jobs in that diaspora. So, how important is offering job opportunities and also promoting diversity?
Oh, yeah. Well, we would not be the company we are today without the nail professionals, the global talent,
Mm-hmm.
the diversity of perspective, the
Mm-hmm.
diversity of even location. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if we only locked ourselves behind a closed door and talked to ourselves, we wouldn't be here today.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, what really inspires me to continue to love what I do every day is
Mm-hmm.
meeting nail professionals that have their own big idea,
Right.
and I find if I think I have a big idea, I like it. I like to take it to nail pros, my tribe and beyond my tribe, to
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, I think I have a good idea, but what do you think? So, I think that that complexity, that diversity of opinion gets synthesized into something better than
Mm-hmm.
what could be done on your own.
Right.
And so, job opportunity wise, like to become an education ambassador for
Mm-hmm.
Sandy, by the way, we have a boot camp coming. It's coming in August.
Ooh.
And guess what? It's going to be the first ever online global boot camp.
Wow.
So we're recruiting in 90 countries for
Wow.
education ambassadors. And
Mm-hmm.
really the criteria is, first and foremost, you have to love our products because passion is what it's all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you really need to be master certified in the various categories, LNP, gel, and painting with shellac and Vinylux.
Right.
And yeah, if you've graduated those programs, then you can go to cnd.com backslash EA bid. It
Right.
stands for Education Ambassador Bid, BID. You go in there, you'll fill out the application, let us know where you are, why you want to be, a part of our team,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be reviewing all the bids. And then, wow, we'll buckle up and do a boot camp. I don't think we've done one in 2 years. Last year was a little interruptive, so we're really excited. But
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to mention, you said the word diversity, like how important is diversity to our company?
Mm-hmm.
We celebrated 40, 2 years ago, we celebrated our 40th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Gave me an opportunity to go back and look at all of our photography over that 40-year period. And I have to say, I was so like gratified to see that, diversity is a topic of our lives today. And we have
Mm-hmm.
to be really intelligent about it. But when
Mm-hmm.
I look at like our 40-year history, we have celebrated diversity since day one.
Wow.
And oh yeah, our
Mm-hmm.
photography is multi skin color, multi-ethnic, background. And I started to think about it, that can you imagine being in the nail enhancement business or
Mm.
the culture business and putting it on one skin tone? Can you even imagine? Like, how boring would that be?
Yeah, that's really boring.
Really boring.
Yeah.
So we have always celebrated our
Mm.
diversity, not only in skin tone, but I have to say that we've really embraced not only the traditional side of the market, call
Mm.
the traditional, those baby boomers who really built the nail industry, but
Mm.
this other side of the market is of Asian descent, many of them 50, 60% here in the
Mm.
US, and we celebrate both. We've really endeared both. And
Mm.
I feel like we've done a lot to sort of close that divide and
Mm.
realize that everyone has a gift they bring to the
Right.
party. I mean, and it could be different gifts. And
Mm.
how do we learn from each other? I
Exactly.
go to a nail only salon, all of the 40 nail pros
Mm.
of Vietnamese descent. These women are amazing. I
Mm.
watch them, how quick they are. The talk about diversity. They're doing baby boomers and their daughters,
Mm.
and even some of their granddaughters. I see these
Right.
girls, right, going
Mm.
in, they're getting coffin shaped nail enhancements. But
Mm.
what's really funny? The really young girls, 15, 16, they get professional nail enhancements done, and they're paying money for them. But then they tell the nail pro to step aside, and
Mm.
they sit behind the table and they want to do their own nail art. They do nail
Right.
art with each other,
Right. Exactly.
right?
Mm.
And so I'm sitting there getting my nails done, and I'm recruiting them. I'm saying,
Mm.
hey, girls, if you love nail art and you love nails, you should become a nail professional, because
Right. Exactly.
we need the next gen.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing, really.
Yeah, that's really cool to see like you guys promote diversity. And also like in terms of with the nail products, like what is like your favorite nail product to use on yourself in terms of your own products?
Well, I mentioned that I have disastrous nails. So it's a genetic situation where it comes from my dad's side,
Mm.
where everyone had ski jump nails. And
Mm.
as a joke aside, you like my sisters have ski jump nails. I do as well. When my older sister had her first child, Courtney, I was there, like witnessing the birth, and all I was dying to see, A, is she healthy? Is she all good? Yes, check.
Right.
And how are her nails? And
Mm.
the baby came out, and I'm not kidding, ski jump fingernails and ski jump toenails. I couldn't believe it. I'm like,
Mm.
darn, we didn't break the trend. But as a result, I find for my nails, I need retention plus liquid and powder.
Mm.
It's really my go-to system, because L&P really ends up being the hardest, the strongest. If you're building with beads, you're able to build the illusion of the architecture to kind of
Mm.
counterbalance that ski jump. I'm a fanatic about making sure that the upper arch is working in sync with the lower arch. So
Right.
we're kind of reversing the effect of the ski
Mm.
jump look of the nail.
Right.
So architecture for me is super key, but
Mm.
retention, I mean, I don't know where I would be without retention.
Mm.
Slack, of course, like I have to tell you, Asia, so it's been 11 years
Mm.
since we launched shellac. We were coming out of a recession in 2009. We
Wow.
launched shellac in 2010. It
Mm.
had been in the lab for 5.5 years,
Mm.
which is crazy. And back then, I thought, this is like the most miraculous thing I've ever seen. And
Mm.
still today, when I see it go on and when I see it come off, it blows my mind. Like that whole butterfly off the natural nail, it,
Right.
like it blows my mind. I,
Yeah, that's
I
really cool.
right? I never
Mm-hmm.
tire of looking at that butterfly removal and no nail damage. Like that was really our goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're not going to rough the nail. You're going to teach your client not to pick it off, which clients love picking off
Mm-hmm.
their gel polish, right?
Right.
We're going to remove it properly and we're going to use it as a system. Like
Mm-hmm.
the science so empowers us to
Right.
deliver wear without nail damage,
Mm-hmm.
right? And solar oil. I have to add solar oil to my list
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
every night.
Yes, every night. And I wanted to ask about the artistry of nails. Like, what is your whole take concerning like the history of nails and plus the progression of nails and its artistry?
Ah, well, the history of nails. If you go all the way back to Cleopatra, to,
Mm-hmm.
the Chinese emperors, you
Mm-hmm.
go all the way back, adorning one's nails was a sign of, fashion. It was a sign of prestige and wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Men and women adorned not only their nails, but they wore makeup and they wore head adornments.
Right.
So I hope that for everyone, that adornment is a part of self expression, that
Mm-hmm.
it's a part, like, I'm wearing yellow nails. If I don't want to wear an all yellow dress, I
Mm-hmm.
can embrace the trend and wear yellow nails as
Mm-hmm.
like an accent to my style. And I wear a lot of different colors. So it's like I can choose a color that becomes kind of my signature look, but it
Right.
goes with everything in my wardrobe. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker for nail art, like any adornment I can get my hands on. I
Mm-hmm.
but I find that nail artistry,
Mm-hmm.
nail precision, what's happening with competition
Right.
through Olympia, through Nails Next Top Nail Artists.
Right.
Artistry has gone through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
The talent has been unleashed. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what I attribute it to is I remember 10, 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
nail pros might, if you say, what do you do for a living? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they would whisper,
Oh, your volume.
yep, sorry, I just caught it. 10, 15 years ago, maybe a nail pro would whisper, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
nail pro. And maybe they weren't so proud of it. Like they didn't
Mm-hmm.
see it from the mountaintop.
Right.
I feel like today there are a lot of nail pros making six-figure incomes.
Right.
They're finding their fame on
Mhm.
social media, like yourself. You know,
Right.
they're able to capture their fortune by really charging what they're worth and understanding their value.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe nail artistry is in addition to, basic architecture and
Mm-hmm.
using various mediums to take every client to whatever their nail goal is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the growth and the confidence that's coming from nail professionals,
Right.
very exciting. I
Yeah,
loved it.
like in terms of like the nail history, I think it's really, really cool of how far we came in terms of nails. It's so cool, like how you talked about the Chinese, how they would dip their nails in like natural vegetable, dyes and beeswax and gelatin, and also too, the Babylonians. I like how you mentioned that in an interview with the Nail Tip Show and Chang, when you were looking at the where you were showing her the Art of Nails exhibition where you talked about the Babylonians who they dipped their nails in coal and black and to intimidate their opponents. So it's really, really cool to see, so many different styles of nail art around the world. You get just so inspired by it. It's so incredible. Now, in terms of you being a nail judge, I want to get into that. So, what has been your experience like being a nail judge, for such as Nail Olympia, Nails Next Top Nail Artists, and other nail competitions? What stood out to you when you judge nails?
So being a nail judge, I take it incredibly seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Nails Next Top Nail Artists. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been the lead judge for 7 years, and
Wow.
Yes, for 7 full years, which is amazing. So we participated very early in the online competition by Nails Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I sat down to judge, I had to look at, I believe it was 12. It was like the top 12 artists, and
Mm-hmm.
they submit a tutorial, they submit a video, they take photography of their nails, they
Mm-hmm.
write like a little essay. And as a judge, you judge in 5 areas: overall impression, the demo and tutorial, technical
Mm-hmm.
excellence, challenge guidelines, professionalism. So
Mm-hmm.
when I sat down to judge for the first time, I had allotted, I think, an hour. It took me
Mm-hmm.
4 hours, 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait a minute, these guys, first of all, these nail pros are amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
over the course of the competition, you see them become mediagenic. They get more comfortable on camera. You
Right.
see them frame their demo in a much
Mm-hmm.
cleaner way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I always notice in NTNA is that during their tutorials, early in the competition, they'll say, I did this and I did that and I did this and this and that and that. And they would use too many words. So
Mm-hmm.
I would try to coach them to say, remove all the I did this and I did that and make it more directive.
Mm-hmm.
Use fewer, more impactful words. So
Mm-hmm.
I view judging as an honor, an incredible honor. I
Mm-hmm.
view it as an opportunity to coach. So if there's anything that I see that they can improve upon, if there's dust all over the table, they're going to be marked down on professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to really honor what they do fabulously well, and
Mm-hmm.
then I also try to offer 2 or 3 tips on what to improve.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a huge time, dedication, but it's one in which I see tremendous growth. And
Mm-hmm.
I find like I'm such a beneficiary of the judging process
Mm-hmm.
because I learn so much and I get to know these nail professionals and I fall in love with them. It's
Mm-hmm.
like by the end of a competition, you feel like your family. So,
Right.
and the same with Nail Olympia. Oh my gosh. I think there
Mm-hmm.
were 500 nail pros or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I only judged 3 categories, but it took
Mm-hmm.
me hours. I think it took me 2 days to do all my judging. And I emailed Alex. I actually did a call with Alex, and I'm like, Alex, I have to meet these. Who are these geniuses? Like, I have to meet them.
Right.
So it's amazing, Asia. And I know you were a competitor in Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Yeah. Well, it was such a great experience just competing for the very first time. Once I first saw the Olympia online, I was like, okay, I want to go for it. So I did like art related categories like the flat art box and the mixed media, and I placed in division one and third. So, I thought that was really, really cool, and to see you as one of the judges, I was like, wow, like she's one of the judges. Jan is one of the judges, along with like Catherine Wong, Viv Simmons, and so many nail artists around the world, especially ones who are top notch in the industry, is so incredible. Now, I want to get into art.
Congratulations, by the way, on did you get a medallion?
I did, yes.
Good for you. Yay.
Yeah, so I want to get into the art side of things. So, what is your whole take on the progression of art, and who are like your favorite artists, and what's your favorite art era?
Ah, man, when you see what's being done on the tiny canvases,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just start with like art on nails. When
Mm-hmm.
you see Valerie Ducharme take
Mm-hmm.
layers of shellac and
Mm-hmm.
roll them into flower bouquets that she assembles onto a nail. I mean, come on. It's unbelievable. And
Mm-hmm.
Tori Bastian and Lavette Cephas, the
Mm-hmm.
avant-garde work that Lavette Cephas does.
Right.
Tracy Lee, who kind of invented like a whole new architecture. Like
Mm-hmm.
the genre of nail art has gone from, I remember in the 80s, painting ice cream cones and sunsets to
Mm-hmm.
now like extravagant avant-garde art. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the foundation of art kind of lies in the classics. Like my favorite of all time artists is Michelangelo, the,
Mm-hmm.
the sculptor. His sculptures that you can see in Florence, Italy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I love his Agony and Ecstasy. His book is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Where his approach was not to carve into the marble, but
Mm-hmm.
approaches. He could see the figure in the marble, and
Mm-hmm.
his job was to break the figures out of the marble.
Mm-hmm.
So his approach was different, amazing. Then you look at like an artist like Van Gogh, his
Mm-hmm.
color composition, the movement that he would get in the wheat fields,
Mm-hmm.
the depression that you saw in his Dutch period,
Mm-hmm.
um, the fanciful lightness of his Parisian period. I think the way in which he combined color with texture
Mm-hmm.
told the mood of his life, which is like really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and oh, I mean, the list goes on, that I love the classics.
Mm-hmm.
However, in modern day, I love street art. I'm really inspired by beautiful graffiti. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my husband and I were lucky enough to go to Cuba a few years ago, and I met young artists doing like a political outcry of how they viewed their government and how they viewed their lives, like with so many changes going on in Cuba.
Right.
Was so inspired by these artists where they were still living under oppression, yet
Mm-hmm.
they found that our outlet of art to find their happiness and to
Mm-hmm.
find, like, it was almost their fantasy of freedom was
Mm-hmm.
manifest in their art. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think there's a lot of, new artists coming down the pike that are making statements through their artistry, and
Mm-hmm.
they're all to be celebrated. It's all like a part of what opens our eyes in life.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I definitely agree because I like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. You look at Paul Cézanne, you look at Monet, a lot of these different artists that really showcase different techniques, different textures, their perspective of environments, especially with Van Gogh. Van Gogh really, his work was very impactful and explained like how he felt and, what he was dealing with. If you look at modern day, like some artists I like now, Dolk, who's a surreal artist, graffiti artist, Kirby Rosanes, who's a very well established illustrator from the Philippines. So see a lot of these different artists that really make a huge impact over time. It's incredible. Keith Haring, Jean-Michel Basquiat,
Yeah,
Keith
so
Haring,
exciting.
especially Keith Haring. Keith Haring wasn't just about like drawing figures. It was about making a statement, and it was about the aspects of life. It was about the social issues that were going on and things like that. So
Yeah, yeah. No, it's, you mentioned Keith Haring. One time I was lucky enough to be in Toronto, and I was sitting with Tamara DeLulo, and she's amazing. And
mhm,
she said, what do you want on your nails? And I said, whatever you want to do. Like, I'm totally open. So she sat down. It was amazing. She had a picture of a Keith Haring work of art, pop art, and
mhm,
she picked up her brushes, no blueprint. She just started painting, blocking out color, outlining it with clean black lines to make it pop. She left a little negative space, but the movement, the precision, the brightness of the art, it was a wonder to see her work. And
mhm,
to wear those nails, by the way, like what a conversation starter.
mhm,
It's like, wow, let's talk about this art.
mhm. And it's so incredible because nails can be a statement in itself. Nails is a form of expression to where you can, talk with your nails and things of that nature. The possibilities are endless with nails. It's incredible. There is this one artist that I got so inspired by. Her name is Koska Bohana, and she's from Europe, and she does nails like outstanding. Like her nail artistry is so incredible. You
Well,
know.
to send me her information. I want to follow her.
hmm I think
No.
she's from Serbia. From Serbia. I
Oh,
mean,
cool.
yeah. So her work is so incredible.
Wow,
It
good tip.
is. She does like these extreme long nails.
Wow.
It'll blow
Well,
your mind.
and I find Asia, I've been really blessed to go to Eastern Europe many
hmm
times, to Russia, to the Ukraine. I've traveled all around. And the precision of the Eastern Europeans in
hmm
terms of nail enhancements and the precision of the placement of the form and
hmm
creating the right illusion, like the training, like here in America, we have some states that only require 100 hours to become a nail.
hmm
There, you have to go to school for a year, and
hmm
then you can apprentice. And after that, then you can become a pro. But the
hmm
amount of precision, the amount of training, the amount of intensity is, it's what's required. It's
hmm
definitely what's required.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm in awe of it.
Yeah, me too. Like the precision is so clean, and it's so amazing how they come with all these different nail shapes. Another nail artist her name is Krista Politi, and she does like these cool long nails. It's really really cool. I have to say the some of the names of the nail artists, but their work is incredible. It is so incredible.
Well, we have to exchange, we'll have to exchange like our favorite names, right?
hmm So I want to get into fashion a little bit.
Sorry, Asia, I had to run and send a little message. Yes, let's talk fashion.
Yes. So in terms of fashion, how would you describe your fashion style?
Ah, ah, oh my God. Well, fun, it's got to be fun. But
Mm-hmm.
I love integrating masculine elements. Like I've got this theory, like the short hair, we share that, both of us, is sort
Mm-hmm.
of the masculine side. Long nails is the femme side. And then, my theory is I've got to like get up, get dressed, look in the mirror, and giggle a little. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
got to be fun. The colors have to be expressive. The shapes have to be extraordinary. I love Japanese fashion because
Mm-hmm.
it's so innovative, so creative. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Comme des Garçons, even Issey Miyake, all that architecture. Sakai is doing some really good things. Simone Rocha is
Mm-hmm.
extraordinary. I think what she is doing is amazing. There's a new designer I'm following called Chokina Lowina.
Mm-hmm.
Chokina Lowina. They're doing amazing, like their fabrication. They do
Mm-hmm.
extraordinary shoulders, big voluminous skirts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like extreme shapes. I like
Mm-hmm.
a combo of colors, and there's got to be some humor. Always some humor.